This is Lee with 82 Game and 12, and we are on YouTube channel Sons of Liberty 75. I've got a playthrough here of CA. Kind of hard to read what the thing says there, but we look at this. Okay. Tactical Naval Warfare in the Pacific, 1941 to 1945, from S&T 38, published May 1973. This is not a very difficult game. It's really pretty simple to play. You've got about, let's say, that I guess that's really like one page, 2 pages, and then a half of a page, double column. So, well, would be quadruple columned, I guess, if you count. Depends on how you count the page, but we count like that. Let me pull back a little. Yeah, there we go. Oh, dadgummit. Just moved everything here. There we go. Then we count that as one page. Then we're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the other pages on the back are the scenarios, designer notes, designer credits. Let's go to that. Okay. So we've got James F. Dunnigan is the designer. Physical systems design and graphics, we've got Redmond A. Simonson. You see him quite often in a lot of these S&T strategy and tactics magazine games. He's involved with Battle of Monmouth, also with the Quatre Bras Neighbors Wellington. So, game development, John Young, William J. Sullivan, Joseph Goldcamp. Rules editor, John Young. Research, John Young, David C. Isby, Albert A. Nafi. Production, Manfred Milken, Al Zeiger, Marcia Treber, Kevin Milan. So, and then this has the ships broken down. This would be like Allied shipping here. Repulse, that's a British ship there. Most of these on here are part of the U.S. Navy, except for the Repulse. And maybe, let's see, maybe some of these destroyers. And then the Imperial Japanese Navy, we've got those here. So I was going to do a comparison between this and Jack Green's Iron Bottom Sound. But when I pulled that game out and opened the box, the counters are not there. So I don't know if when I bought the game, the counters weren't in the box, or if I misplaced the counters. I don't know how I could have misplaced them, but I know that several games that I've gotten from Noble Knight Games I've had to contact the company multiple times because all of the counters weren't included in the games. I don't think they're doing a good job of going back through there and making sure that the counters are all in the games. I know at least some of the La Bataille that I've gotten from them, it's like all of the information counters weren't there. And now I will say on their part, they just sent me another complete game. They didn't look for the counters. They just said, here's a replacement game. Don't worry about sending the other one back. So, I mean, they take care of it. It's just the fact that, they need to maybe do a better job of checking the games out. Maybe have someone that's knowledgeable of the games so they can look at the game and say, hey, this is missing. But they do you right. So just let you know that they do you right. They fix the problem, and I appreciate that. And it would be inconvenient for me to have to send it back to them, the game that didn't have all the counters. And so I basically have another copy. It just doesn't have the information counters. So I've got, I guess you could say, I've got backup maps and game counters. So now I got this. This here I got off of a seller on eBay, and it didn't have the magazine. It came with basically 3 games. It came with the CA, which I had to print this off, and it came with. Let's see if I can pull this up here. No, let's do it this way. It came with, this was, I believe, out of a magazine. Well, maybe it wasn't. Vittoria and Albuera, 2 Peninsula War battles that it's 2 games in one. And it came along with this CA, which Armored Cruiser is what that CA stands for. But it was kind of a bargain because you got basically three games in one, even though one was World War II naval game and the other 2 are Peninsular Napoleonic games. So let's take a look here at the board and the counters. So I may have to do something about that there. It's getting into the, I have to just move it out of the way. There we go. That takes care of that, getting into the picture there. So this here is not here, this island here. So this is to be just water here. Now this one here is land, and I believe, let's see, there's a land marker. So I put this land marker here just to signify that that's actually supposed to be Savo Island. This is not supposed to be here. So there's not really any way to cover that up. And on the back side, you've got basically more of Guadalcanal, and again these 2 islands here that are sitting out. So the top of the map here is north, and so this is scenario 4, Guadalcanal 1. It's 13th of November, 1942. It's occurring at night, or actually early morning, which would still be night. And you've got two battle cruisers, Japanese battle cruisers, a light cruiser, and then let's see, about 10 destroyers. And so I guess it's considered maybe the first naval battle between the Japanese and the Allied naval forces near Guadalcanal. And the United States Navy, Allied Navy, was expecting the Japanese to be approaching from this direction and not from the northwest, coming out of the northwest. And so they're a little surprised. Now, the United States Navy had some radar in some of their ships, but the ships that have the radar, one of them's this Atlanta type light cruiser, which I guess it's actually the Atlanta, had radar, and some of the other vessels did as well, but they're not in a position to really give good warning because you've got these destroyers out front that are interfering with that radar. And so what happened in this battle is the two forces went right at each other and just got mixed up, and you had a brawl, just a nose-to-nose brawl where ships are dodging to keep from ramming each other, and some of the larger vessels are not able to lower their guns to a degree where they're able to fire at the destroyers, the enemy destroyers, and so the enemy destroyers are able to fire their 5-inch guns or 6-inch guns and basically do a lot of damage to the bigger ships, boats, ships, vessels, whatever you may want to call them. So I know a Navy man would have, a certain term that would be used. I'm not a Navy man. I didn't serve in any kind of military capacity. So sometimes I may say ship, I may say boat, I may say vessel. To me, it's all the same. So now I do have all of these magazine articles that was included in when I got the game, and so some of these are adding realism, adding simulanity. So basically, you have movement by both sides at the same time. So what you're doing is you're going to plot your movement and go from there, where both players reveal it. In the way the game rules are, you have one side goes and the other side goes. So you got torpedo charts, torpedo hit results, stuff like that you could add. New scenarios, which are kind of neat. They also have adding historicity. Let's see here. Ordnance talks about the ordnance of the different ships, gunnery factors and so forth, and what class ships had what gunnery. You have the torpedoes. You have all kinds of different things here. You got, I guess, some more, maybe, let's see, I guess another scenario there, maybe? Oh, I guess it's some errata. Fair number of errors in Section 12, ship characteristics. Okay. So that's that. And descriptive models, all kinds of stuff like that. Designer notes. And that's for, well, let's see, we got, I guess this is advertisement maybe. So let's see here. Maybe it's errata. Yeah, correction. CA1C should have a gunnery range allowance of 14, not 4, as in printed on the counter. Okay. So yeah, there's some corrections here for different things. So I thought that was kind of neat that those magazine articles were included. I'm not actually using any of those. We're just using the straight up rules. You could actually take this game and use it in, for example, Pacific War, victory games, and then now GMT. And instead of just, rolling for the battles in that game, then you could set them up. Especially if they're taking place around Savo Island. But of course, you could get other, open maps that have nothing but just, water hexes. And I have that with Iron Bottom Sound. And you could use these same counters and just use this simplified system here to fight out the naval battles, or as you go. But so there's different ways that you could use this game besides just playing it as it is. And like I said, it is quite simplified, but you can make it a little bit more difficult, or with more chrome, I guess, if you wanted to. Now, I really wanted to compare it, but just like I said, I couldn't find those counters. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know why they're not in the box. So I guess I'm gonna have to make my own counters for that game, if I can find a counter sheet, a copy of the counters somewhere. Maybe somebody knows. That's the Iron Bottom Sound, the Jack Green game. So, and then I have a game of my own that I've designed. I'm in the process of going through, and I need to finish redoing all the rules into a program where I could actually print them off, or just send them as a file. And so I've got to do that. I'm about halfway through, I think, doing that. But the devil to pay. And you don't use counters or hexes. It's not a hex counter game. You could actually use miniatures if you wanted to. You can use it at various scales. It's easy to use it at a larger scale, or even a small scale, where you could play it actually on just take about 4 sheets of blank paper and tape them together into 4 quadrants, and then you could just play on that using colored pencils and either a protractor or a ruler, and with some ship information charts or sheets that would be provided, that could be copied off, and then you just fill in the information for each ship that's involved in the battle, and and go from there. You need 2 6-sided die. But maybe I'll show that in a video. And I could have done it with this as a comparison. But it's set up really for the early stages of the war. So like 1939, 1940, 41 maybe, with the ships that I have all the data that I've created for each ship. So I don't have the Japanese ships information translated into the ship data that you would need to play the game. So I've got to do that. I've got, all these Japanese ship classes, and I've got to transform them into the data, transfer the data so that it is playable in the game. It's kind of may be hard to understand what I'm talking about, but eventually I'll get it all organized and do a video of it, of actually a playthrough. And it'll end up looking a lot similar to the battle diagrams that you see in books and also in online when you search for a certain battle. And as an it's not really a really good example, but if we look over here, this is the type where you just have lines. Won't even have these little ship icons here, but just lines showing movements and like an arrowhead that shows where the ship is at the present time. So it's a little bit different than this, but there wouldn't be any of these lines across here and quadrants, little quadrants. It'd just be open, just blank. So at some point I'll show that, and it'll be easier to understand. So this is the approximate location of the opposing ships at 145, 0145, 0145. Enemy positions are determined by the O'Bannon's SG radar. And here's the O'Bannon right here. So you had Cushing, Laffey, Sterrett, O'Bannon. The Atlanta those are destroyers. Atlanta is a light cruiser. San Francisco and Portland are the armored cruisers, the CAs. Helena and Juneau, those are light cruisers. Yeah. And then Aaron Ward, Barton, Monson, and Fletcher are destroyers. With the Japanese, I don't know that I'm going to try to pronounce all these, but you've got Samadari, Murasami, Asagumo. Those, I believe, those are destroyers. Udachi and Harusami, those are destroyers. Yukakazi, Amatsukazi, Terasud. Those would be, I guess those are also destroyers. The Hai and Kirishima, those are the battle cruisers. Nagara would be a light cruiser. And then Inazumi, Akatsuki, and Zuchi, Kazuzuchi those are destroyers. So, and if we look at the battle map here, the Allied forces are in line. So you got 3, 4 destroyers, a light cruiser, the 2 heavy cruisers or armored cruisers, light cruiser, and then a string of destroyers. Now, in the game, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trailing destroyers, but on this map diagram, shows only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't know what's going on there, but the numbers out here, these would actually be placed on top, and they're an arrowhead with a number. That is signifying the speed of the ship. We're going to talk about that as we go along. And then over here, we've got the Japanese. They're the yellow. And they are traveling northeast at a speed of 4. So the speed of the ship is going to be found on, let's see here. There's a chart somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So here's the maximum movement allowance. Battleships, battlecruisers 6, CACL 7, destroyers, they've got 7. They probably should be, I would think they would be faster. But movement point cost a turn, there's 3, 2, and 1. Acceleration 1, 2, and 3. Deceleration 1, 2, and 3. So there that is. And I think we won't have to worry about, I don't think, extended range firing. We do have to be concerned about this. This was happening at night. And so they both kind of became aware of each other at the same time. And let's see here. Okay, so you've got daytime and nighttime. Nighttime, each player receives all ships. Each player receives all ships. RN, Royal Navy maybe, must exit one of the battleships or battle cruisers undamaged off the west map edge. Wait a minute. That's for the wrong. We're looking at the wrong. The wrong scenario there. Okay. Where's the nighttime rules? Thought we had some nighttime rules here that they could only see so far. I think it was like 8 hexes or something. Guess we won't worry about that. Yeah, I guess we won't. Yeah, so the two Japanese battle cruisers, they had been armed with bombardment rounds. And so they will only have gunnery strength of half because those were not armor piercing rounds that they would be using against a ship. So one half their usual gunnery strength, and the gunnery strength is the top left number. So for both of those units, oops, 23 and then 23. So they will have, instead of 23, they're going to have like 16, a strength of 16 instead of the 23. So 16 and a half. And the range is the top right number. And defensive strength is the bottom left. And torpedo strength is the bottom right. So you can see this destroyer here has a torpedo strength of 20. The Japanese are able to reload. They have reloads for their torpedoes, while the Allied Navy does not. And they will have much lower torpedo strength due to the fact that they had basically inferior torpedoes. So, okay, let's see if the scenario tells us who's going first, and we'll get going. There's not a lot of information on the scenarios. And they don't really give you, they don't give you any historical information. I actually had to pull up on my phone to find out that information. And let me just read it off here. So Callahan is the Allied commander, and he was on the San Francisco. You had bad weather and a dark moon. So Japanese are there to bombard Henderson Field. See if I can. Here's a picture of the battle site. So right here you have Savo Island, and over to the left is Guadalcanal. So it happened between those two land bodies. And let's see here if we can. find the results here. Thought it would tell us what ships were sunk and so forth. But maybe I need to find a different location to get that. Let's see here. Well, I guess it looks like one destroyer was sunk, a Japanese destroyer was sunk, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the destroyers were crippled. One of their light cruisers was crippled, and the battle cruiser Hawaii was crippled. And for the Americans, we have the San Francisco was crippled, the Portland was crippled. Oh, some of them, I guess, were damaged and not crippled. Helena was damaged. Puno was crippled. Let's see here. You had 1, 2, 3 destroyers were sunk. 1, 2 were crippled. So that was the result. So after about 40 minutes of brutal close quarters fighting, the two sides broke contact and ceased to fire. So the Japanese chose to abandon the mission and depart the area. So the Americans were able to stop the bombardment that took place. All right, let's get started here. I don't think it tells me what who's going first. The Japanese, of course, had superior night optics and optical equipment, and they did a lot of training for night fighting. Maybe it tells us who goes first here. No, it really doesn't say, does it? Oh, the first player listed in the scenario is always the game's first player. So, there we go. All right, so the Japanese player goes first. All right. Here we go. So, sequence of play. So you have the gunnery attack phase, torpedo attack phase, then you have the movement phase, acceleration, deceleration phase, and then the second player begins. So one of the things that the additional optional rules that come with, I guess, another magazine was on the facing of the chips. Now you have chip facing, but it doesn't really apply with anything. And really it kind of should, because if your bow or stern is facing toward the enemy, you would only be able to fire with usually half your guns. Now, there were some British vessels that had they had all their gun turrets were toward the bow, and the superstructure was to the rear. But that's not the case for most ships. Most ships had even number of turrets, but only half of them were on the toward the bow. The other half was located in the stern, and you had the superstructure, the command center, located in the middle. So you would only be able to fire with half your gun strength. But if you were turned, where you had either port or starboard, then you would be able to fire, all your guns. So that's not one of the rules in just the basic game. And so I don't quite understand what the importance of the facing really is. But there you go. Let's see what it says here about gunnery strength, maybe. I know that your gunnery strength is reduced further out that you fire. And I know that dealing with the optional rules, it was just the opposite. The closer you were, reduced, because you're not able to train the guns to that low of an angle to be able to fire at ships because of the way they were on the deck. So when ships attack, they don't attack separately. So a given ship may never attack more than one enemy ship. This was something else that in the other rules and the optional rules that you could have, split your gunnery strength in half, because most ships had the capability of some of the turrets firing at one target while other turrets were firing at another target. Now, we're not going to do that. We're just going to have them fire all their strength at one target and not make it too complicated here. So there's no gunnery ammunition rules. There isn't a limit to the number of torpedo attacks. And to kind of briefly mention that. So no ship may attack more than once per gunnery combat phase. So you can attack in both the gunnery and the torpedo phase if you wish, though. So at half strength, a ship can fire up to double its normal range allowance. So there we go. All right, so let's take a look here at some of these ships to find out what their range is. So these destroyers here, let's see what we're going to use here. Use the blue there for that. So I'll have to use something like orange for the Japanese. So that destroyer can fire 12 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they could fire at this armored cruiser, which has a defensive strength of 5. They have an attack strength of 3. And on the combat chart, you're not able to even roll if you're less than 1 to 1. So they would want to pick a target that would be at least 1 to 1, and they're not really going to be able to do much damage at 1 to 1. Very small chance, one out of 6, a chance of being able to do any kind of damage. But if we have multiple units firing, for example, let's say we have both these destroyers firing at one target, then that would be 6 to whatever. So, they could both fire at, say, this destroyer here, or they could fire at this destroyer here that's out front. So let's have them do that. They're going to fire there. And so they've got a strength of 3 and 3. Okay. Range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's exactly 12. That's their range. So that would be 6. Defense is 2. So that's 3 to 1. So then we take a look here at 3 to 1, and we roll the dice. And we're just rolling a 6-sided die. Guess I'm going to have to find a 6-sided die. Oh, we rolled a 1. Okay, 3 to 1. Okay, it's a P. Now, what is a P? Well, that's a power hit. First power hit, ship's maximum movement allowance is halved. So, second hit, they're dead in the water. So we put a P, which is a power hit. on that unit. So they are automatically, okay, reduced since they're only traveling at a speed of 1, they're going to be just reduced to basically no speed. Okay, they're going to have to increase their speed. So I guess they can still travel. No, they can still travel 1. It's just that they, instead of being able to travel 7, they're down to 3. Okay, top speed is 3. So, all right. So those units, they're both fired. I think everyone except for, let's see, the big battle cruisers back here would be able to fire. And they're only at strength of half, which really they ought to be halved again. But I'm just playing the simple rules here. You would halve them again if you wanted to play some of the optional rules in the magazine articles, where you're trying to have a little bit more realism. Because since the ships are have their bows facing the enemy, they would only be able to fire their front turrets. So, but we're just going to do it with the easy rules and not complicate things on this first attempt at playing CA. So we've got 20. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And they're going to fire at this cruiser there. Okay. So they've got a defense of 3. This unit with 23 is halved. So halved would not be 16. That would be 32. Halved would be like 11. Yeah, 11. Strength of 11 to 3. That's 3 to 1. And if we fired both of those at the same target, but we won't. We're going to just fire it at the 1 target. Okay, we got a 2 at 3 to 1. Okay, a 2 is still going to be a power hit. So power. See, should be just, let's see here. That's weapons. Half speed. Put the wrong one. Where's just the power hits at? Power should be just, oh, there they are. There's one. Okay. So that's 2P. We don't want 2P. We just want P. Well, do we not have those? Here's one. I think it'd be a lot easier to just keep it on a piece of paper, you know, with like a chart that has all these ships, and that's the way I like to do it. I don't like to use all these counters because it just, you're putting them on, taking them off, changing them, whatever. Plus, it covers up the ship, you know. So I put it out here on the speed. That's the other thing, you know. The speed there is going to cover up the ship. You know, I guess I could put the speed underneath. You know, that's what I'd prefer to do. Okay. And then I can just lift the ship up to see what their speed is. But with these, I know what their speed is. What the speed is, it's 1. So and I didn't have enough, if you notice, I didn't have enough green 1 speed markers in the counter mix. Couldn't find them. So, you know, I have a very, I have a pet peeve about that. There we go. All right, so that battle cruiser fired. So now we want to have the other battle cruiser, which actually would be, if I look here, I guess the Kirishima's in front, and that would be the Haiya. Haiya is here. They've got a range of 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And so they're going to fire on, I think that would be the San Francisco armored cruiser there. So what do we get? Oh, we got a 5. And they have a strength of 5, so it's a 2 to 1. That's what we have. So a 2 to 1, and we got a 5. That's a miss. So the salvo just goes flying over the top and splashes. And that's pretty much all for the Japanese there. And so they don't want to fire any torpedoes. And so the next thing to do would be movement. And so they have to move the number of movement points that they have. And so they don't have a choice. They've got to move 4. And so when you move a unit, we'll just take this one. We'll just use this right here. Let's close in. So let's just say we're using this. So here's the 3 front hexes. So in order to move, you have to move in one of those 3 hexes. Turning, you can turn, but you're limited in how you can turn. So right here, battleships and battle cruisers, it costs them 3 movement points to turn 1 hex side. Light cruisers, armored cruisers, 2. Destroyers, just 1 movement point. Okay. So if we wanted to turn, to like cross the T, then they would turn like so. That would cost 1 point. 2, 3, 4. Remember, this is not an island. Oops, I got to back up some. Let me do that again. So they would turn to 1 hex side. That's cost 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'd be their end of their movement. So, but they just want to close with the enemy. And so that's what they're going to do. They're just going to close. So I'm going to put this on top here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have a choice. You've got to move whatever your speed is. That's what you got to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this light cruiser. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These destroyers, of course, want to get in close enough to fire their torpedoes. 4. This one's going to move in here. Okay, then we have the ones back here. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's pull back. So that's the Japanese move. So somewhere, I think there's only a range of like 8 for sight at night, and I'm just letting them fire from way off. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. We're just gonna get a look at the game itself and not worry about the night rules and anything like that. We're just going to worry about the basic stuff: acceleration, deceleration. So at this point here, the Japanese can decide if they want to accelerate or decelerate any of their ships. And so acceleration, battle cruisers, it can decelerate at 1 or increase their speed by 1. Heavy cruisers, light cruisers, 2. Destroyers can accelerate 3 or reduce to 2. So now, to really get into attack, these 2 front destroyers want to increase their speed by 3. And so they're going to have these older games, they did not print on the back of the counters. So you have, if you flip this over, it's just blank. And so that took up more counter space. But I guess it was either costly or maybe they just didn't have the tech at that time to do it very well. I don't know. So, but we're increasing their speed. So that's, you just change the counter to reflect the new speed, and it's kind of a hassle. I think you could do it just by paper, pen and paper. So next turn, they're going to be traveling much faster. And I don't know about a turn track. Maybe it's on the back side of this map. But there's a counter to keep up with the turn. But, you know, you have dice. And let's see how many turns this. I think it's like 12 or something, maybe. This scenario. Let's see. This scenario here. Yeah, 12. So we just need a 12-sided die. There's one. So we'll just keep track of it here on the island there. So this is turn 1. All right, and let's see here. Anybody else want to accelerate or decelerate? These are picking up speed, and I think these 3 back here need to pick up speed. There's a 7. Since they can increase up to their full movement potential. Maybe I don't have enough 7s. I don't know how that can be. If they would have printed on the back. Of course, it's a magazine game. I think at one time they put it in a box. I could be wrong though. You know, this is where you're like, why is there not enough counters? Okay, here we go. All right, so we're going to increase these 3. We'll put him out here. So they're up to 7. All right. And let's see here. These 3 here, I think I might increase them to 7. Trying to get some more light without causing any that ain't gonna work. I'd have to put this thing over here. Let's see. There we go. All right. Give us a little bit more light here. I think I'm going to increase the speed of, these other 3 destroyers here. They want to race off to fire off their torpedoes. So too bad another thing was color code the different numbers, so that each counter is a different color. And then you could just see underneath the counter and know what speed it was going to be. But of course, they couldn't, at this time, they didn't use a lot of different colors. You were kind of like restricted in the number of colors you had, especially in a magazine game, to keep the game, cheap. So, and everybody else wants to stay at the slower speed they were at. So now we go over to the Allied side. And, the Allies, since they are going second, are going to be able to fire more of their units at so how many blues do I have? I don't have very many blues, so I'll use grays instead of blue. All right, so these 3 destroyers here are going to fire. They got a range of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Well, wait a minute. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So they're all going to fire at this destroyer here. So they have a strength. They only have a strength of 2. And can those destroyers... Okay. Defensive strength is 2. So that's 3 to 1. So we've got a 3 to 1 here. I rolled a 5. That's going to be nothing. So those 3 missed. And then we have let's see, should have went 4 to 1, but oh well. Okay, so this one here is going to fire at this one, this destroyer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 1 to 1. He's going to have to get a 1. Got a 3, so no effect. Now we go to the light cruiser, which should be the Atlanta. And so they can't fire at these two. They've got a range of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They are going to fire at this destroyer along with this armored carrier, which is San Francisco, and this one here, which is the Portland. So we've got, let's see, that's going to be 26. That's going to be 33. That's going to be overkill. Because 9 to 1 is 18. So basically, I could just fire with these two together. That's 20. And that would be 9 to 1. So we need to do that. And a 4, 9 to 1 is going to be a power and a weapons. So they get hit with both. Half speed and half their attack. So they were going to be going 7. They have to be reduced to now only 3. So their speed gets reduced down to 3. Can't go 7 anymore. I don't know. Let me check here about the oh, there's the nighttime spotting. Oh, so they could only fire at ships that were spotted. Spotting occurs in 2 manners. Whenever a ship uses gunnery strength, whenever a ship expends movement points within 8 hexes. Okay, so spotted markers are removed from friendly units at the end of the enemy player turn. Well, we'll maybe have to do that the next time. Movement allowance is halved. Well, is that rounded up or down? Let's see. Rounded down. So they can only move 3 now. All right. So now we go with the only one that's really going to be able to fire will be the Portland, the CA here, CA2D. We got a range of 15. We can't fire at this one. We got to fire at someone else. So I guess they're going to fire here at this And normally they wouldn't be able to fire them at if, you know, it is night. But I've already messed that up, so I'm just letting them go at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so they're going to fire there. The strength is, defense is 3. They've got 13, so that's 4 to 1. 4 to 1. We get a 6. That's going to be no effect. We got just a big dot. So now they move. So we just move everybody up 1. They're not firing their torpedoes. I want to wait till they get close for that. And this unit can just move up. They can't turn. You know, and another thing that you would think about is, okay, say this battle cruiser is firing here and they missed. You know, we possibly roll for ships that are, you know, behind them, because possibly they shot over this ship and could possibly hit other ships if they had the range. All right, so everybody got moved. They just got moved up. And now we want to maybe accelerate some ships. So this destroyer can only move 3, a top of 3. So, of course, they want to move up to 3. And the other ones, they can accelerate up to 3. So, or 3, they can accelerate 3 points. So that's 4 for that one. See if we got some more 4s here. All right. They want to accelerate. That one wants to accelerate. This ship here, that's they can move 7, but they can only accelerate half because of they got hit. So they can go to 4. Well, no, they can't. They can only accelerate up to 2. So they're going to have to accelerate. They're going to have to go to 3 as fast as they can go. Okay. I like the idea of plotting that, you know, if you were playing with another person, you would plot what each ship's going to do and who they're going to fire at and so forth. And then, you know, both players reveal the information and they'd move their ships and fire. Or fire and then move. I think they should move first and then fire, because that way you don't know where the ships are going. You know, but you're plotting that, oh, they're gonna go here, so I'm gonna fire here. And, you know, after you've fired their direction, then you're kind of locked in, and then you can actually like move your fire 1 hex, and the second time 2 hexes, you know, from, you know, where they moved and where you aimed at. In other words, you know, that to me it just would, you know, it adds a little more realism, but I know it bogs it down some, but, you know, that's just what happens. So this this carrier, armored cruiser here could move. They can accelerate up to 2, so they're going to go also up to 3. They want to be able to do some maneuvering and not just be stuck going 1 hex. So they go up 2, so they're up to 3. Let's going to take them time to get, you know, really moving. And so, let's see, this one here will go up to 3 as well. This one here will go up to 3. Oh, come on. This one will go up to 3. And then these destroyers are going to be breaking out to be able to close the gap to fire their torpedoes and get in there to try to take out some of those capital ships. There's a 4. Both of these are also looking to go to 4. There's a lot of things you could house rule using rules from other games. You know, I've got, like I said, I've got the rules and maps for Iron Bottom Sound. What I don't have is the information on the counters, which, you know, has to do with, I think, their movement and so forth. But, you know, and it's just the counter factors, whether it be movement, you know, the gunnery factors and so forth. So, all right, so we got that taken care of. So that's turn 1's over. So we're going to turn 2. Okay. So we look here. At who's firing at who, so forth. And so these 2 destroyers here, range of 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Both of those are going to fire at this unit. So that's going to be 6 to 2. That's 3 to 1. Got a 2. 3 to 1 is power. Okay. So how come they got... Let me just put them all over here into this so I can... I wish they had printed on the back. On here. So I'm having a hard time just finding a power. Power only. There's one. All right. Okay. So, who's that got hit? Laffy? Laffy got hit. So now he has to be, his speed has to be reduced. down to 3. Can't go 4. All right. And now we go back here. See if he's got somebody in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. He's going to fire at this guy out front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So this light cruiser and this destroyer are going to fire here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so he's going to fire out there. So we've got a strength of 6 and 5. That's 11. So that's going to be 5 to 1. I rolled a 4. 5 to 1 is a weapons hit. So we got power and weapon now. So he can only fire with half strength, gunnery strength, which is 1 now, strength of 1. Okay. This battle cruiser and that battle cruiser, do they need to fire? That would be 22. Yeah. They're going to fire at this lead, at the lead, that's the San Francisco armored cruiser. Don't have to really count, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 22 to 5. That's 4 to 1. We got a 2. 4 to 1. A 2 is a power. So there's 1. So they're reduced. The top speed for them is 3. And that's what they're going. Okay. Let's see here. This front destroyer, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he could fire at this light cruiser. That's the Helena. 1 to 1. He's got to get a 1. He got a 6. So, all right, that takes care of that. They don't want to fire any torpedoes because torpedoes. Let's see, torpedoes. So I'm not using the spotted marker. I'm not using the spotted rules. I'm just getting at it. Let's see. Where's the torpedo? Torpedoes at? Okay, so torpedo strength. Let's see. Can also be applied at extended range. Okay. So what is the range of torpedoes? Is 7 for Japanese and 3 for the United States Navy. So 7. So these front ones, they were going to fire torpedoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they're not close enough, but they're going to be. All right, so let's move them in. So this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then they can change, accelerate, decelerate. No, I don't think anybody wants to decelerate. They want to keep coming in. All right, so now the U.S. Navy can blast away at the Japanese Navy now. So, all right. Okay, so we've got this unit, that unit, that unit, and that unit. All those destroyers are going to fire. All right, 1, 2. Let's see what he's got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fire 7. 7. We fire here. 7. That's 4. No, it's only 3 to 1. 3 to 1. Got a 2 at 3 to 1. 3 to 1. A 2 is power. All right, so it's going to drop him down to 3. Okay. This light cruiser with armament of 7 is going to fire at this destroyer. Both of those and that heavy cruiser are going to, that's going to be 20 to 2. That's 10 to 1, so it's going to be 9 to 1. We got a 3 power and weapons. So that's going to drop him down to 3. So 3. So power and weapons. So half strength on his attack. Okay, now we use that one and this one. So we've got the, what is that? The Portland and Helena are going to fire, yeah. Going to fire at this destroyer right here close, who's getting ready to fire his torpedoes. So that's going to be 20 to 2. That's 4 to 1. No, it's 9 to 1. Sorry, 9 to 1. Roll a 4. That's power and weapons. So they're going to be reduced to a movement of 3. So you got to kind of set up. It's kind of hard to, if you're both going, doing your plotting and so forth at the same time, and then, you know, you're both moving at the same time and basically firing at the same time, simultaneous movement, firing. I think that's more realistic. Here, you know, the Japanese, because they moved first, they're getting penalized because as they're closing, they're getting hammered. But that happens. You close, you're going to get fired on, you know. Let's see here. So this unit, scale-wise, let's see how much, what's the scale here? See if it tells us. Yeah. So each hex is 926.88 meters. So that should be plenty of space to fire over against maybe a distant opponent. So they have a range of 12. I think they could fire at this destroyer unit here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that'll be this. That'll be Juno. Juno is going to fire. They have a strength of 11. It's going to be 5 to 1. Ooh, a 1. 5 to 1 is a power and weapons. And they've already had one hit. They had a power hit. So now they've got, let's see. They've got 2. They're dead in the water. I don't think it matters. So they have they're dead in the water and they have a weapons hit. Weapons hit. To power. Okay. So they can't move. Let's put that on them. Didn't. What happened here? All right. So the Juno hit that destroyer and they're out of, they're dead in the water. And then these destroyers only have a range of 8. 2, 3, 4, 5. They could have fired there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay, so now they move. So this destroyer here can only move 3. So we go 1, 2, 3. They can only move 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one here can only move 3. 1, 2, 3. They can only move 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Got a gap in the line there. 1, 2, 3. These guys, 4. 1, 2. They got to move the distance. 2, 3. Let's see. 4. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. And so now they can adjust where they speed up or slow down. And he can't go any faster. He can't either. This guy could go faster, but he's not going to. This guy wants to speed up. He wants to speed up to 7. Same thing here. Dadgummit. All right. Rest of these destroyers want us. This destroyer is going to slow down to stay with those light cruisers. But these other two are speeding up. You could run into a traffic jam too here with all of this. All right, so we go to turn 3. What's this guy doing? Where did he come from? Oh, he's right there. So, he's only got a strength of 1. He's got a strength of 1. They can't really fire. Well, they can fire one of these. So they're going to both fire at that one. So that's going to be 2 to 2. That's 1 to 1. Got a 2, that's no effect. You got to have a got a roll of 1. This unit here, power, it's got full strength. They're going to fire with that unit. So that's 8. Fire right there. 8 to 2, that's 4 to 1. 3 to 1 is a weapons hit. So what's the weapons? There's one. Oh. All right. Come back right here.